3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
The Geek Week in Review.
Hello and welcome back to the Geek Week in Review with me, Jacob's Toys, of course, the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell, and Ryan Speaks Geek. Where's Ryan? he's not here. He's not here. No, Ryan is coming. He's having a bit of technical issues, but he's going to be in very shortly. Thank you very much, everyone that's tuned in from the beginning. Hello, Stug. How are we doing? So we're just going to talk about the week in review, as we always do. If you are already following us on various social media platforms, then thank you very much. If you're not, then you can check out the geekweekinreview.co.uk, and there's the links to all of our socials over there. Hello, Stephen. Yes, had a great week. Hope you've had a good week as well. There's been a few things happening this week, so we've got quite a bit to talk about, which is great. In particular, we had the what's it called? Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Definitely got to talk about that. Definitely got to talk about that. Hello, Viz. How you doing? Massachusetts in the house. Good to see you virtually. Started with a click. Evening. How you doing, Shelley? So we're good. We're good. We're going to kind of just kill a little bit of time to start with because we are waiting for Ryan. Andor as well. Andor. SMD. SMD. Evening to you. Obviously, depending where you're watching from, could be evening, could be early afternoon. We had the season finale of Andor, and of course, we had the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, and we had a handful of figures kind of appearing on people's doorsteps as well, which is always fun. We're going to chew the fat. We're going to talk about the Geek Week in Review. If, of course, there's anything that we're not talking about that you've picked up on this week or that you've heard about, let us know in the comments, and we will obviously do our best to talk about it. Do comment, do join in, do chat along with us. How's your week been, Sorrell, anyway?
It's been really fun. Just managed to hit 10 million views on my channel overall, so I'm happy boy.
Nice. Little round of applause for Sorrell. 10 million views. Nice.
Insane.
That is crazy.
It's been a crazy couple of days with all the sales and stuff. Just keeping an eye on where all the good deals are at.
I know there's so many sales going on at the moment. There really is. I mean, it tends to be the same kind of stuff across the board. Like there's nowhere in particular that's kind of throwing out some like really random things. It depends where you shop. It seems to be the same kind of stuff. Like the brick and mortar shops seem to all be the kind of Thor Love and Thunder wave, the Age of Apocalypse Colossus Build-A-Figure wave as well. There's a lot of Power Rangers popping up on sale as well at places like TK Maxx and stuff.
Yeah, I had to go check a couple of TK Maxxes to get that Tyrannosaurus Sentry.
Did you?
Yeah, that's where I got mine from.
Yeah, see, mine had loads in there, and it was up for $12.99, and I must admit, I was kind of like, because
I got one, and I need one more because obviously in the comic books, Dracon was always flanked by two of them. So I want another one for the side of him. I just hope they make the Mastodon soldiers now to go with them. So
that's the thing. They got the Ranger Slayer, didn't they? They dropped her a little while back.
Pink Ranger Slayer, Kimberly.
Yeah.
We got her.
Yeah. Black Friday was more like Charcoal Grey Friday from SMD. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I was a little bit disappointed this year. I'm not going to lie. I was I was hoping for something a little bit more, but it was a little bit meh, which was a shame. Did you pick anything up in the actual Black Friday sales?
In the actual Black Friday sale, no, all the things I picked up other than the Sentry, everything else I picked up were full price. I'm just looking now behind me. So I got, like, if you saw my haul the other day, I managed to get like Man Bat finally, and I got Killer Croc finally. But yeah, everything of mine has been on full price, really.
He's here. He's here.
Is he here? He's finally here.
Ryan, you're live. This is not a drill, Ryan. This is not a drill. How you doing, buddy? All right. We're just talking Black Friday. Talking Black Friday sales. Did you pick anything up?
Yes, weirdly, but not for not nerdy. But I didn't realize Black Friday applies to things like Virgin Experience days as well.
Yeah.
So but it's great. So there's like a couple of experiences we sort of picked up for a few people, but we got like 250 quid worth of experiences for 80 quid. That was insane.
Result.
There was one, and it was all for other people. And I actually, for the first time ever, I was really upset that I didn't have a driver's license because one of the experiences that was on Black Friday was drive the original 1966 Batmobile. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, I was like, how could I book this and get my license in that? I was like, no, I can't do it. But
In that
it was worth a
time.
try.
In that time.
Sorry, I'm late, guys. I was my friend of
That's
mine
right.
is moving to Thailand for forever. So I was at a quick leaving do, and I thought I'd be back sooner, but it turned out I was not. Sorry.
That's all right. That's right. Stephen, Cyber Monday. Yes, let's not forget about Cyber Monday. They do tend to have deals that they hold back for Cyber Monday. So I am also in that boat. I hope that there is a few kind of, good deals being held back, which would be nice. I must admit, got to give a little shout out to Zavi. They sent me this T-shirt, nice Killmonger T-shirt that you can get in the Black Friday sales. Oh, look, Sorrell as well with his Power Ranger Christmas jumper.
Mine's from Aldi.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
No, but you can pick up these shirts on Zavi UK. People
Zavi have done some amazing Transformer Black Friday deals. Like there's some bots in there that aren't actually that old, that are only probably about a few months old from release. There was one that's based on Road Rocket, which is like one of the Transformers I used to have when I was a kid. It's only, I think, 3 months into release, and it's already down from 25. But in the Black Friday, it's down to like 12 to 39. It's like 50% off. It's insane. Like they've done really well for Black Friday. So like props to Zavi and Hasbro, to be fair. Actually, some of their on the pole stuff, which I'm sure you guys probably always said, but like I was tempted by quite a lot of it. Did sort out the Lord Dracon helmet as well, because that went in the Black Friday.
It was on Zavi's Black Friday, that one. It was a really good price, and
I got that.
The Transformers Jurassic Park set was marked down to like 30 quid from like 90 or something daft. So I mean, that were a bargain.
Yeah,
that was 100. I think it was 110 when it was released.
Yeah. Insane, isn't it?
It was a lot of money.
I've kind of got back into my Transformers. Did you see my picture?
I saw a thing you got from Hasbro.
Have you got this one, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
That is awesome.
Cool.
I love the cross. I'm a sucker for a crossover. If it's a graphic novel or a figure, I'm a sucker for a crossover.
Well, the only other Transformer I have in my room, ironically, is another crossover, which is the DeLorean. Yeah. I love the crossover ones. I just think they're really cool. But yeah, no, Hasbro sent this over to me, and I'm just really cool. It's nice to have like a Blackbird like in the collection. Because naturally, if you were going to get this in 6-inch scale, it would be unbelievably huge.
There is someone who's done a 3D printed one. Have you seen it going around the groups?
Yeah, it's doing the rounds. But even then, it's not fully to scale. Like it fits the 6-inch figures, but it's not to scale in regards to the actual size of the vehicle itself. I mean, it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I actually didn't pick anything up in the Black Friday sales. I'm not going to lie. There was nothing that jumped out to me that I was kind of like, I need that so much that I'm going to pick it up now in the Black Friday sales. So, Stevens picked up Top Gun Transformers crossover. I mean, I think the crossovers for Transformers, I think that's a really good line. I'm not going to lie. I think the
Top Gun
really
one's awesome.
Line. Yeah.
It comes with a volleyball and a little Tom Cruise on the motorbike.
Does it? Oh,
yeah.
I might have to look at that now.
It's down to 24 something, I think. I want to say. I might be wrong.
No, I did. What am I talking about? I went over to DC. I went over to DC in the Black Friday sale, and I picked up the Batman bike to go with my Ghost Rider.
See, what I love though is that now Jake's Facebook relationship status with Marvel it's complicated.
It's complicated. No, the reason being is because we got the new this one come out, didn't we? We got the new retro card one, complete with Lego chains. I always put Lego chains in my Ghost Riders. Nice. I just think they're so much better. And I can't take credit for the idea. It wasn't my idea originally, but they just work so much better and they look better on display.
They do look good, actually.
It just works. You get more flexibility with them. But I was kind of like, you know what? I've got the Riders figure of Ghost Rider. and I've got the single card release as well, and I've got a couple of other bikes, got like the Punisher bike and stuff. I was like, I need a new bike for Ghost Rider, and I can't remember for the life of me, but somebody on one of the Facebook groups shared a picture of the Ghost Rider with both versions of the Batman bike. So there was
is it the Batman, like the Robert Pattinson film, that
Yeah.
one, the kind of because that's like it's not very it's not heavily Bat inspired, it's more like a motorbike with a couple of panels on it, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's not, there's no kind of Bat logos on it or anything like that. So you had, they had the Drifter version, which is just kind of a standard motorcycle. And then they had the actual Bat cycle that's a little bit more kind of modified, but it's got very angular kind of, like the tank on it is very angular and stuff. So yeah, it kind of looks quite good. So I was like, you know what? And it was on sale in Black Friday across the board, across various different retailers. And I was like, you know what? I'll pick it up. I know that the McFarlane figures are like 7-inch, 6.5, 7-inch. So I don't know how it's going to scale, but somebody on the group shared pictures of their Ghost Rider figure with both of the bikes, and it actually looked really good. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to get one, customize it a little bit, add a few flames and all those kind of things, and have a play. So that was my one Black Friday purchase.
No, good purchase.
Yeah. So how are we doing? Where are we gonna go first, do you think?
Andor.
We start Christmas.
Andor.
You want to go Wait, whoa. Sorry. Am I in the right group? You want to go Andor first?
Let's talk Andor.
Well, you've been away. Me and Jacob have found a love for Andor.
Yeah.
Oh, I see how it is. So the minute I'm not here...
We're a bit late to the party, but,
Yeah, I'm just looking at saying.
Are you guys fully up to date then? Have you finished it?
Yeah, mate. As soon as that finale dropped, I was like, what? Andor Wednesday, let's go. I told you I would get behind it, but I needed to watch it in bulk. And I don't know whether I planned it or whether it was by accident, but I binge watched it, and the final episode was the Prison Break, the One Way Out or whatever it was called. So I ended on that, and then I was sold. I was like, yes, that was the moment that I needed.
Strong episode to end on.
It was a really good episode, and I was that was what I needed to kind of fully hook me in. But before we do talk about it, I've heard that they're not going to do as many series as they originally planned. Originally, they were going to do a series per year, and they were looking at doing like something 5 or 6 series, but now they're only doing a couple.
I don't want them to milk it too much. So 2 sounds about right. Any more than that, you're starting to milk it, aren't you? It's like Mandalorian. There's only so many seasons of that they can get away with before it starts getting very samey.
Yeah.
I'm happy with 2 live action a year and 1 animated. Whether that be like the Tales of the Jedi, another season of Bad Batch, or some other kind of like What If, maybe. Just I'm happy with sort of a bit of a play. Because the thing is, there's a big difference, I think, when you're watching like Bad Batch to Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett or Obi-Wan or whatever. So I think I agree. I think if you had like 4 live action series a year, 2 animated ones, it's just a bit too much. Because I mean, I even struggle with that with Marvel's current rota. I still haven't finished She-Hulk or Miss Marvel.
Oh, really?
I know it's bad, but the problem is there's so much good TV on to try and catch up. We've been watching Resident Alien, and also the new Chucky series, like season 2 of Chucky, has just started airing in the UK.
Wednesday as well as on Netflix now.
Yeah, Wednesday. And that's the thing, I haven't even started that. There's a lot of good TV on. Doom Patrol season 4's coming.
American Horror Story that launched as well on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
I'm a massive fan.
The Santa Clauses, that's amazing.
The Santa Clauses and The Walking Dead had its final episode ever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you boys are big Walking Dead fans, but I've been watching it since the beginning.
I stopped watching it
but...
when they got to the zoo. Because there was
they go to a zoo. Oh my god,
mate!
The thing is, I did like it, but my problem was I never read the source material at all. I've got no idea about the source material. So I've only watched it as a series, and it got a bit lost for me. As in, like, when I say I got a bit lost, I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean it got a bit like lost for me. The show Lost, and I fell for Lost. I stuck with it to the end, and the payoff was exactly what they said it definitely wasn't, and it was actually not that good a payoff, and I regretted it so much. So Walking Dead, I stuck with it because I love zombie films and I love zombie media. I mean, I've still got a proud copy of Flight of the Living Dead up there. That's not one a lot of people have got in their collection. It's up there with Kentucky Fried Zombies. I've got them all. The Walking Dead, it just got too much more about human versus human rather than human versus zombie. and that's where it started to lose me a bit more. When the walkers became much smaller part of it, and that was actually almost like they were an inconvenience, and it was much more about human politics, which is fine. But I was just like, no, and I think I'm actually going to probably pick up the Fear of the Walking Dead, because obviously that restarted from sort of like ground zero and that forward. So I know it features is it Morgan?
Yeah.
From the first scene. So I will probably pick that up again, and I think I will go back to the original series, because I've heard that it does really pick up, and that apparently the finale was really decent. That's from what I've heard. I've not seen as much moaning about that, because normally when there's a finale, everyone's on the internet crying about something or other, like, you know, oh, they didn't show this exact specific thing I always wanted. It's like, well, it's all about you. But you know, you're a big fan still, so you've been start to finish. What do you think, man?
It was amazing.
So just that. Right, that's been the Geek Week in Review. Until next week, keep it geek.
Shall I tell you what? And if anyone watching is watching The Walking Dead or fans of The Walking Dead, let me know in the comments what you think. But my viewpoint on it, I read all the comics, I read all the comic books, but one thing that they've not been shy about admitting is that the TV show like really does kind of drift away from the source material. You know, like, spoiler alert, Carl is still alive right at the end of the comic books. Do you know what I mean? It's like Daryl isn't a character in the comic books. Like, it's all those things. It's a hugely different story in the comic books. No, Daryl was created for the TV show. He was created for the TV show and became a fan favorite, and then ended up being in it until the very end. And then Norman Reedus got a Hollywood Walk of Fame. So hey, who says the source material is important? But I always looked at them as two kind of different things. Like the comic book is the source material, but I looked at the TV show as the TV show, and you had to kind of enjoy it as the TV show. They mirrored enough of the good bits in the comics for me to be okay with it, like the Glenn's death and stuff like that, and the portrayal of Negan and things like that. That they did so well with that, in my personal opinion, that I was like, you know what, okay, I'll forgive you for this bit, or I'll forgive you for that bit. But yeah, I just found it really enjoyable from the beginning. But one of the things that I heard, and I don't know if it was on an interview or maybe it was on one of the Talking Dead TV, like talk shows, but the concept of the Walking Dead is the humans, not the zombies. And when you think about it in that respect, it kind of changes your perspective a little bit of it, because it is about the journey of the humans going on. And a lot of the time when I watch it, I was kind of like, who would I be in that situation? Where would I have been if I was in that kind of post-apocalyptic world, the zombie world? Would I be a Rick? Would I be a Negan? Would I be a
I would be that half a zombie that's on Morgan's front garden. That would be what I was.
I would be a zombie. Yeah, I would
in
be
this hat.
One of the zombies.
Done. Well, they actually, if I remember correctly, doesn't Rick at one point do a proper 80s movie thing and say, you know, Coral? No, he turns and he does say like that he is actually, you know, we're the Walking Dead or something like that. He says that line in a thing which is like proper 80s, like, you know, going like, what we need is Rambo.
Yeah.
You know, and they make it like, sure, they have the title in the film somewhere.
Yeah. Shelley there started with a click, said Daryl never ever washed his hair, even right to the end. I'm sure the Commonwealth had a barber. They actually did. There was somebody there that was actually there. They were a barber. But yeah, I don't know why. Then I suppose he was that kind of that nomad kind of character. But no, I really enjoyed it. But when you talk about spin-offs and tie-ins, Fear the Walking Dead is obviously a spin-off, so it takes place. It kind of starts at the same point that The Walking Dead starts at. So the launch of the apocalypse and that kind of stuff, but you see it from a different perspective, and it's a different bunch of survivors. But then it does cross over with The Walking Dead in respect of Morgan, but the timelines are slightly different. And then you also had The World Beyond, which was another spin-off that took place, and it's around children that were born into the apocalypse. So they were born in one of the sort of safe zones, and they go to college and they go to school, and they're like growing up learning about zombies and stuff, but it's their story. But interestingly enough, like, I've kind of watched and followed along with all of them, but when you get to the finale of The Walking Dead, they all kind of come full circle, and they all have a tie-in with that finale, even though the others are still going on, like the Fear the Walking Dead is still going on. But Fear the Walking Dead is it's almost a Godfather 2 kind of scenario, where it is possibly better than the original for different reasons. But there are a whole bunch of other spin-offs that are coming.
That doesn't make the other spin-off like Godfather 3, is it? Because that just you shouldn't watch Godfather 3.
Well, I didn't like it to start with, but when I watched it through to the end, I was like, actually, it's quite a cool little story. But there are more spin-offs, so there's going to be a couple of spin-offs around certain characters. So I don't want to give too much away, but there was definitely a big payoff in the finale. But anyway,
is one of them called what Coral did next?
What Coral did next?
Coral.
No, but you're not far off. You're not far off.
It's that time of year where we get to see him on the big screen, anyway. Because the guy, I always forget his name. The guy,
Love
the guy
Actually.
Andrew Lincoln.
Andrew Lincoln,
Yep.
We get to see him on our screens in a few weeks, don't we?
Yeah.
Love Actually.
Yeah.
When he's being a dick and sort of trying to get with his best friend's wife.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Dirty rotten scoundrel.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He is
anyway,
the Walking Dead.
let's talk Andor. See what I did there, Mike? Let's talk Andor. I loved it.
My moment.
I really loved it as a on the ground. This is what's going on. And shall I tell you what, right? And there are spoilers ahead for anyone that hasn't seen the season finale of Andor, but it did come out a few days ago, so we're going to talk about it. But the big bit for me was right at the end, post-credit, the post-credit scene, and I was like, yes, that's
Yeah,
cool.
the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I didn't know about it until I saw it on Facebook yesterday. Someone was like talking about the post-credits, and I was like, sorry, excuse me, baking powder? What?
Yeah. Post-credit scene in Star Wars. Shall I tell you what? The only reason I knew it is because I was watching it on my computer, and when I watch it on my computer, it gives me the option to skip credits. I think it does on the TV as well. And that popped up, and I was like, ooh, skip
Suit you,
credits. I recognize that button from the Marvel shows. Let's see what's going on. But yeah, I mean, I can tell you what it is if you don't know what it is.
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, they're building the Death Star. And what you see is those things that they were building in the prison are essentially like the interlocking bits of the Death Star that kind of hold it together. And so Andor was part of the team that was building the Death Star. And it kind of answers a lot of questions that people were like, well, how did they build the Death Star in space? And, all the rest of it. Well, it shows you that they were building it in these prisons and putting all these pieces together to get sent off to form the Death Star. So I thought it was a really cool tie-in to the bigger Star Wars universe. But I really enjoyed it. There were some characters that I was a bit meh. I kind of forgot their names and stuff. But then there were other characters like Andy Serkis's character that were just like standout characters. Like, what a character. But you also don't see whether he survived or not. That's the thing. So
I really thought he was going to be shown up in this last episode. I thought he was going to be tortured. I thought he was going to be I thought old Blondie Bitch Titch was going to come in and sort of torture him until
no, I think there's plans for him. I think
I'm hoping so.
Because let's be honest, if you were in that, he is. If you were in that situation and you saw somebody kind of struggling, especially someone you knew, you'd kind of grab them and tow him along a little bit, wouldn't you? Like,
well, he tried to, but then Andor got pushed out of the thing, wasn't he?
No, but then Andy Serkis got pushed out as well, didn't he?
No.
Or did I make that up? No, he was there.
I think that was just what you wanted to happen, but unfortunately,
you don't ever see Andy Serkis leave that thing. He's still stood there, and everyone else has got like filing through, but he stood against that like wall, like the wall bit.
Oh, so that's
the thing
how
I like
is
everyone said that's actually, if you think about it though, because the way everyone comes in, everyone sees that it's in water and stuff like that. So he always knew he wasn't going to escape.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I hadn't even thought about that.
Someone said he did that knowing that and that's why he looks so resigned to his own fate at the end where he gets there and he's just like, I can't swim. But he got them there.
I'd love to see him in
for Andy Serkis.
I'd love to see him come back in series 2 though. Like I say, he's been captured by the Empire or something during that. Like you see, like some of the people who escaped got recaptured or whatever or something.
Yeah.
Andor 2, and this time it's personal.
But for me, it was that finale episode with the the drumming and that whole sequence was amazingly powerful. And when you see the projection come up, and she uses the phrase from Galaxy's Edge as well. All it takes is a spark. That's what they say on Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, it was. You really kind of felt the emotion behind the characters, kind of wanting to rise up and wanting to, you know, revolt and stuff. I just thought it was really cool. I thought it was really cool. But I still stick to what I said originally, and that it was such a slow burn. I think that's why they lost people, because I think we all knew the payoff was going to be good at the end. I think we all knew that there was going to be something good out of Andor, but it would be the same as breaking Rogue One up into 8 or 9 pieces. I think that a lot of people would drop off at a certain point because, I don't know, you kind of need that speed, you know?
It's quite interesting because I actually completely disagree. Like we've spoken each week, like me and a couple of my mates have been sort of talking, and every week we've been just like, this is just brilliant. Like, but every week has been really like spot on for us, and I've not felt. I'm actually glad it didn't all come out at once. And if I'm being completely honest, and the thing is, like, it was a whole different creature. It was a whole different creature, and every episode did enough for me in regards to like tension and sort of a spy thrillery, on edge, constantly, like, you know, like, even then the thing is, a lot of people keep saying like, oh yeah, but you know Andor dies, and it's like, but you can sort of predict a lot of the time what's happened with characters in lots of films we watch. Yeah, exactly. But you know, I get the argument, but I also think like you can watch. We've all watched enough movies that when you watch something, you know who's going to die and who's going to live. It's very, very rarely you're surprised. And I know you definitely know that he's going to survive, but let's be honest, I don't think that takes any enjoyment out of knowing, like, when you're watching something. Like, if we saw another Captain America now, or another Iron Man film with Robert Downey Jr., I don't think that you would then not enjoy it because you know that Iron Man's going to die.
Counter argument. Right. If I could please have the floor. Counter argument is Black Widow, the film, bombed. That bombed though. In regards to the MCU and all the rest of it, there's such a long wait for it. Everyone knew where she was going, and I agree, it was a very cool film, but people didn't emotionally invest in it. And my argument with Andor is that the Prison Break episode, it ends with you seeing Andor getting pushed off the side and just disappearing, and obviously Andy Serkis being left behind. Now, if you didn't know the fates of those characters and that episode ended, how much more tense would it be going into the next episode to know whether he survived or whether, you know what I mean? But I watched it and I was like, well, he'll be all right. Let me focus on Andy Serkis.
Isn't the last scene that he's running on the ground with?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, you could have ended that episode with him falling over the edge and left you on a massive cliffhanger. But you could do that with anything. Yeah, of course you could. But I'm just saying that the fact that I knew he was okay, I was kind of like, I wasn't worried about him. Like, and he got pushed off in quite a dramatic way, but I didn't care because I was kind of like, I know he's okay because we're going to see him.
No, but I don't think it was done to make you think that, you know, oh, is Andor okay? Because the way it was shot, the idea was that he couldn't then save Andy Serkis. That was what made it dramatic. He got pushed off before he could try and save Andy Serkis. Because Andy Serkis says to him, I can't swim. And before Andor can get to him, he's pushed off over the side. So there's nothing Andor can do. That's where the dramatic tension is. It's not about whether Andor survives or not, because we know he survives or anything, but the dramatic tension comes from that he's not able to save the person who can't save himself.
But wouldn't it have been fun if we didn't know?
No, it's just as fun as it was.
Listen, Ryan,
it would have been just as fun as being morphed into a purple elephant.
We enjoyed it, right? After 8 weeks of doing the show, we're telling you we liked it, right? You win. You win.
The thing is, it's not ever about, but this is the interesting one. It's never about like winning though. And this is, because I know you guys, we've had a long laugh about this, right? The whole time Andor's been on, but it's never been about me trying to get you guys to like it or like trying to you watch it. But I think there's been a big amusement out of the fact that I have really enjoyed it. And I know I enjoy a lot of things, but like, it's okay to not like things. Like, and I've been totally okay if you guys didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you have enjoyed it, and I'm glad you watched it. But I'm also totally okay if you didn't.
Just looking at my Disney Plus now, I've not watched the whole thing. I've only seen episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then I jumped and I've watched episodes 8, 9, and 10, and then I saw the last 2 episodes, 11 and 12, because I was hooked after 10. I watched 11 and 12.
Wait, so I missed them in order.
I've missed out the entire middle chunk. I've not even seen them, but I don't feel like I've missed anything.
Why did you even watch it like that?
Because
that's a weird thing to do.
I could not be bothered with all the middle crappy bit. So I saw the beginning bit.
But how do you know it was crappy? Because you didn't watch it.
Did you not see the Vader yoga scene?
What I'm saying is, I didn't need the whole thing. This is what I'm getting at. I didn't need the whole thing to understand it. So 1, 2, and 3 was enough to set up the entire premise of the show. Then after that, episodes 8 and 9 are about him being captured. And obviously, then 9 and 10 are in this prison thing. 10 and 11, 11 and 12 is the ending with the spark of rebellion. The story tells itself with just those episodes without watching 4, 5, 6, and 7.
But I can watch A New Hope and Return of the Jedi and still know what's going on.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't need those other episodes, though, is what I'm trying to say to you. I didn't need them to understand the story.
Interesting take
I
on
just
it.
didn't need them.
Let's go to Christmas. Let's talk Christmas, right? Andor was great.
Before Ryan's head explodes.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Now, this
Incredible.
revealed a lot. This opened up lots of stuff.
I had to double check something because I thought one of the big reveals was already common knowledge. So I got really confused that it was a big deal. I looked up, I was like, apparently it wasn't. I didn't realize.
Okay.
With the relation. I don't know what I'm saying, as if like we're not spoiling anything. We're gonna talk about it in detail.
We are gonna talk about it in detail, yeah. So but Marvel did actually drop a bomb because they do the Legends shorts on Disney Plus. And they kind of do a spotlight on each character. Well, they had to remove a couple of them because they gave away a plot point from the holiday special, and that was the spotlight on Mantis. It gave away that big reveal that she is related to Star-Lord. Sorry for anyone that's not watched it, but I did say spoilers.
Siblings.
Which I really liked. I really liked that link up.
Gave him family again.
Yeah, it really, it hit the heartstrings. Kevin Bacon's involvement in it was fun. It was fun. It was, I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, I kind of went into this because people are kind of, the internet seems to be split between people that really enjoyed it or really hated it. And I kind of went into it with the impression that, this is going to give me something that is going to be relevant in the next film. There's going to be something in this that makes it relevant to the film because they wouldn't do it if there wasn't. And there's going to be a lot of kind of tongue-in-cheek jokes and quips and things that make absolutely no sense. And it was just cool to have like a Christmas special. This time last year we had Hawkeye, didn't we? We had the Hawkeye, the Marvel Christmas TV show that I do need to rewatch now because
I'm getting ready to rewatch that again now. It's festive time.
Because it's festive period. But we've now got not only Hawkeye, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy as well. But I wanted to rewatch it and I didn't yet. I'm going to go back and rewatch it after the weekend. But I just really enjoyed it. I just thought it was a really cool. That song has got to be #1 Christmas song of the year. It is without a doubt going on all of the Alexas in my house around Christmas time. When every guest arrives, I'm going to play it again for them. Just it's so random. And
you mean with amazing lyrics like Santa is a furry freak with epic superpowers?
Yeah, exactly. It's just brilliant. It's brilliant. What did you think of Groot? That's an interesting one. What did you make of Groot? Because
Chunky Groot.
Yeah.
It's the most like a costume he's looked.
Most lack of
costume. Weirdly. No, it's the closest to looking like he's a costume rather than a CGI character.
Oh, right. Okay, I get you.
Like, as in, like, design-wise and his movements, it's the closest he's ever looked to look like someone in a costume with some CGI elements rather than completely CGI. That makes sense?
But I wonder whether he was. I don't know. I don't know.
What, you imagine that Vin Diesel was in there giving it this?
I don't know. Like,
and if it's family.
I don't know. But it was, I just really like it. And James Gunn's done a couple of tweets and stuff about it, but it's essentially because it's not the Groot that we had in Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is essentially the dad of this Groot. So this is like, it's not the same Groot reincarnated. It's a new Groot. It's like the son. And that's why he looks different because he's going to be bigger. He's going to be chunkier. And I like that. I quite like that they've not just gone down the safe route of making him the same looking. And he's going to be a cool action figure. Let's be honest. Like that is going to be a cool action figure to have all the evolutions of Groot. But yeah, I just really liked it. There was no character in it that I didn't like. I liked that it focused more on Mantis and we kind of got more of her character and more of her like kind of character development a little bit. because she's quite a cool character. She's definitely one of my favorites. So I'm glad that it kind of focused on her, and I'm glad it wasn't just like a big Star-Lord story again. Even though it kind of focused around him, it wasn't around him. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I really did.
Kraglin. I love that we got more Kraglin.
And what's going on with his head? Like, how has he now got the Yondu like fin? Like,
that was in the post credits of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, wasn't it?
No, but it's now like in his head, isn't it? It's kind of like it looks.
He's had
like
the implant fully done, I guess, like Yondu.
Yeah, which is cool.
So
like
that's how he controls the arrow, isn't it? That controls the arrow.
Yeah,
but he had it like just kind of clipped on, didn't he? I think it was in the post credits of
because he was given it,
Galaxy 2. Yeah, and then now it's like fully fused. It's a part of him.
Yeah. Hang on,
I'm gutted that we never got to see his deleted scene in the Avengers Endgame, because he had that whole thing he filmed and he was on like some kind of space bike for like the big battle bit of it, and like I've seen like one still of him on it, but they've never released the scene. I'm like, I miss deleted scenes on DVDs.
Yeah, I do as well. Stephen said there, Groot looks so different in Love and Thunder. Yeah, because he was still teenage Groot in that one. So he was still the Groot that we had in Endgame and Infinity War and stuff. Whereas this is Groot kind of further on.
Early 20s, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say in his 20s. He's put on a bit of weight. He's been in a gym. Buff Groot, should we call him? But yeah, and there's been the leaks of figures as well. So the leaks of Marvel Legends figures for next year, and Kraglin's one of those. So I'd be really interested to see what they do, because they're an absolute money maker would be for them to do the Kraglin figure and then put in a Yondu head as an additional head, because that Yondu is so hard for certain people to get hold of. If you don't have him in your collection, he's really difficult to get hold of.
I know it sounds stupid, but like, because of all the random holiday stuff that's come out of the figures for like Star Wars, which nobody asked for, actually this time around I would have actually bought a Batista in a Christmas sweater. I would have gone all out for that this year.
I'm really surprised that they didn't do a wave of figures for it. I'm really surprised.
Guardians is popular as well.
Yeah, because Mantis as well, she had all the bows stuck on her dress, didn't she? And the reindeer stuff, and even Groot had like the reindeer bits and stuff.
And the post-credit bit, we've got all the lights on him and the tinsel.
Can you imagine if they'd have given us a wave of figures with all of them with changeable heads, so you can have them as the the new versions of the character, but then an alternate head that has the Christmas thing on it, so you can turn them from Christmas and not Christmas. So you could have had the new Groot, and then the head comes off. It's got little, it's got little reindeer antlers on or something. That would have made it so you could have them as both.
What surprised me though is when I spoke to Dan at MCM and I said about the Werewolf by Night special, and I was like, are we going to get figures for that? And the reason, one of the main reasons that we didn't was because they didn't get the concept art and stuff until quite late in the day. And so if there are going to be figures for it, it's going to be much later. They weren't going to release them in time for that. But what surprises me about this is the holiday special has been on the cards for a long time. Like we've known it's coming for a long time. So I'm really surprised they didn't have even just some sort of merchandise to tie into it. That's two special features we've had now with zero merchandise tied to them, which just really surprises me.
Werewolf by Night will definitely get some figures in the future. There's no sure. An updated Man Thing, Werewolf by Night, and Elsa Bloodstone will get figures. I reckon they'll come as part of like a Midnight Suns kind of line up, especially because they're in the next new films we're going to get Blade. So you need side characters to go in the Blade box set, and Blade in the comic books is friends with Werewolf by Night and stuff. They're all from the Midnight Suns, including Man Thing, including Elsa. In the comics, they are all part of the Legion of Monsters. They're all part of the Midnight Suns wave, the Night Stalkers. They're all from various groups together. So it'd be so easy just to package them up with Blade next year.
Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah, and I reckon you might get a Guardians holiday set at some point. I mean, the other thing is, at the very least, you'll get like Cosmo, an updated Cosmo, because I mean, Cosmo spoke loads in this.
Well, that's the thing is we haven't actually got an MCU Cosmo. Like we've.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't know Legends. I always assumed there would have been one from about 6 series ago or something, but has there not actually been one?
There's, I know. I think there's an old one, but like a comic book one.
It was from a box set, wasn't it?
It was from a Marvel Universe box set. So the the not 3 3/4 inch, but they were like there's weird 4-inch figures that they released for a while, and they were essentially scaled down Marvel Legends, and they did a collector's box set. So you got the collector, and then you got a handful of other things, and one of the
like the
figures
things
in
that would
there.
go in there.
Yeah, so you got Howard the
Gems.
Duck, you got Cosmo, you got a few other things as well, but it wasn't an overly popular box set. But I was always really surprised that they didn't upsize it and make it for 6-inch figures as well, because I don't even know what the price point on it would be, but I think it would definitely sell.
But do we reckon Cosmo's now part of the Guardians of the Galaxy for the next film? Because I mean, I would think it'd be
100%.
weird if she wasn't.
So, a whole line of Cosmo merchandise is about to hit Epcot and about to hit Disneyland. It's all over toywiz.com. They've got like plushes.
Oh, man
of
in
Cosmo.
the chair, he knows.
Yeah, they've got they've got loads of plushes of Cosmo. They've got loads of like little figures that's like squidgy, like rubbery. They've got loads of random stuff, and they're doing a pet line. So like you can get a dog bowl, you can get like a lead that's all inspired by Cosmo, like astronaut.
Can you imagine the executives of Disney, all that Labrador stuff we've got? Yep, throw a fish bowl on it. We are selling Guardians.
Where's all that 101 Dalmatian shit that didn't sell?
Yeah, repaint the Dalmatians and put a fish bowl on their head. But no, I think Cosmo stuff would be brilliant. I don't know, but I think she is definitely going to be involved in the next Guardians film. And if anything, it's just got me really hyped for the next Guardians film. I was already pretty hyped for it anyway, but and this is going to be the last outing that we see of this version of the Guardians. So that doesn't mean that they're not all there. We know for a fact that Drax is not going to be involved after this one, because Dave Bautista has said quite openly on social media that it was, sad saying farewell and all that kind of stuff. But none of the others have kind of done that yet. So
I genuinely assumed that after Infinity War and stuff, we were going to see Drax disappear and Nebula kind of disappear, because their whole entire stories were about seeking revenge on Thanos.
Yeah.
And that is Drax's whole mission, isn't it? Is to kill Thanos. So I mean, now Thanos is gone, I don't see what Drax really, other than just because he's friends with them. I assume he'd retire.
If I was to guess, I don't think Drax was supposed to last as long as he did. But he became an instant kind of popular character, didn't he? Because of his kind of dry wit and stuff. So I don't think that he was supposed to last as long as this. And so they've kind of seen him through because of him being a popular character.
I think he's going to die in the next one.
Oh, don't say that.
No, I do. I think, but I think
want
he's going to have a
anyone to
good.
die.
I think he's going to have a nice death, and it will be about joining his wife and his daughter.
No.
Or
I want
something
them all
like
to just go off into the sunset. Happy Disney endings. That's what I'm hoping for. Get to the end of the film and they all go, well, that was fun. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go
Ignore
this way.
the dead mother in Bambi and the missing parents in this and the other.
Yeah.
Just a happy standard Disney family.
No, I think you're right. I think it's one way that they could kill a character off, but by doing the character justice, because you're right.
Yeah.
He, wants to be with his wife and everything. But I just love his and Mantis's friendship as well. I really love that they've got this kind of really bizarre friendship, and he's really sweet, but in a really horrible way. Everything he says is really well mannered, but it's so horrible. Like the bit of the intercom, it's just, and the whole "you're hideous." It's just when he's going, what's the matter? I just imagine being with you.
Especially with the tiny man as well, and he thinks the candy cane looks like a man.
Yeah,
the man just talking to the police officers like, now we are even.
You can have it.
Okay.
It's just, the whole thing was just brilliant. It was really good, and I think as well the other thing that it did really well in such a short amount of time is it shows how far they've moved as characters. There was no mention of anything that happened before, apart from obviously Gamora, but there was no mention of anyone else or anything else. It was just where they were, which was really cool. But one thing as well that I found peculiar is that it talks about buy-in nowhere off of the Collector, which proves that, which kind of confirms that the Collector didn't die in Infinity War Endgame, which I just kind of took as a given.
No, well, we know that because there was a scene filmed for, I think it was Thor: Love and Thunder, that was meant to have the Collector, and it was filmed, and it was Benicio del Toro and it was Jeff Goldblum, it was both of them together, and they were meant to be
right.
there. And I think it was filmed, but it wasn't included in the film because they made a big deal out of it. But they were both, because obviously they're brothers, and they were meant to be together there. But it wasn't shown for whatever reason. I don't know if they'll add it as something else some point maybe, but they did film it apparently. So that confirmed that he was obviously alive. Because I agree, I always assumed he died because of the whole illusion thing, and then But no, apparently he survived. They filmed a scene with Benicio del Toro and Jeff Goldblum, as the brothers were meant to be in Thor and Love and Thunder, and then they never used it.
Wow, there we go. I didn't know that.
The more you know.
But yeah, so yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I'm looking forward to what's going on because we've kind of Phase 4 is kind of officially wrapped up now. Like that's it with Wakanda Forever and now the Christmas special. It's kind of officially wrapped up, and we are officially going into kind of Phase 5, which is exciting. It'll be exciting to see kind of where it goes and what they do. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think that's about all I can say.
Wakanda Forever, though, that little nugget of information that dropped, the new Black Panther series.
It was fake, mate.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well,
did you not read that screenshot? Did you not read the screenshot that I sent you?
No, I was busy. I wasn't even here for the show.
Yeah, if you read it, it kind of you weren't. But it says it talks about it all, and then at the end of the screen, at the end of that paragraph, it says like, "Are you looking forward to tuning in 2024 for this?" Because I've just made all this up using AI, but it does sound really cool, doesn't it?
Oh, it's that. This thing, right? This has been a huge thing recently. It's getting on my nerves. People saying, "Oh, people just need to read and everything," but this whole AI news thing, it's insane. Have you seen like the way it's sweeping? The amount of things I've seen that have been so convincing, and people have not put context into it. So there was even like just to the point where, for example, Fritz Lang, who made Metropolis, one of the greatest sort of fundamental like cornerstones of our of modern cinema. Because you have Maria from Metropolis, which is all the basis for a lot of science fiction and robots and droid design, even down to Star Wars droid design. And it made out like there was this lost Fritz Lang film from 1919. Or 1919, 1920, but the screenshots and everything like that like stills from like someone taking a photo of things being filmed was so convincing, and because of they were saying like the footage had been lost in a fire, because of how old that is, it's very possible that a film would be lost from that time. So I read it and I really invested. I was really interested. I was trying to look it up and I couldn't find any information on it. And someone was like, "Oh no, you need to," in the comments right down below, someone put, "You need to see what the group is," and it's something to do with Meadows. I can't remember what it's called, and that is where this whole AI stream type thing comes from. And but this is just a thing now. People just put fake bollocks up they're done on AI, and it looks impressive. But the problem is, it just completely muddies the waters, and it's so weird.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I did find it questionable the moment you put that it was a musical. I was like, like something as serious and like thing as Black Panther, and then they turn it into a musical. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
because I think like I could though, because like the thing is that I wouldn't have thought it's like a musical. When you say musical, you're saying as if it's going to be like Annie, but it wouldn't be. It would be based on like the cultural music. Like it would. That was the whole pitch thing in there. Was that it was based on, and obviously music is actually a huge part of that culture. It wouldn't have actually been that. It wouldn't have been that sort of unbelievable to have it sort of a short set to sort of music from that sort of culture, and then doing like sort of short stories. Like I actually thought as a concept it was good.
You say it's musical to me, and I picture Buffy the Vampire Slayer going, "He got the mustard out."
Yeah.
Oh my god, no!
What was that one called?
I forgot about that.
Once More with Feeling.
Once More with Feeling. That's it. Yeah, they just redesigned the musical genre with that episode, and so many TV shows have done musical episodes based on. Yeah, I actually enjoyed the Flash ones. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, they could actually sing though, because I mean, you had even Joe was from Rent. You know, like.
Yeah. They were all
like they could actually
sing, and ex-Glee and stuff, wasn't it? But yeah,
it wasn't like Pierce Brosnan trying to sing in the ABBA film. Yeah,
don't get me started on ABBA. But yeah, I enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy. So what else we had launched? So Wednesday has started. Have you guys caught up on Wednesday at all?
I've watched the first 3 episodes with Lynn so far, my wife. And we've really enjoyed the first 3. It's a good program.
It's really good. It's really good. I love it. I can't remember the name of the girl that plays Wednesday, but she is phenomenal.
Jenny Ortega.
That's it. Phenomenal. She is so good. So good. Yeah,
There's an interview with her where she said where she learned to do the stare and had to like mentally like do it like so many times a day because she had to learn not to blink and for her eyes to not water up. So she had to do it that often that her eyes got used to just being staring at people like that for like
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She
wasn't allowed to blink.
I just think it's so good. And it's kind of a series that we never knew we needed. If that makes sense. Like there was no desire for it. There wasn't a huge kind of calling for people going, oh yeah, we really need a an Addams Family TV show or something, like, but there's just something really good about it.
How far have you got?
Episode 5, I think.
Yeah. So we just got past the bit with the click.
Okay, right, yeah.
I've not seen any of it yet, so
yeah, it's just really good. Just really, really good. And I love what's her name? Who's the original Wednesday?
Christina Ricci.
Yeah. So her inclusion in it is just genius. Morticia and I can't remember names. Gomez are just perfect. Like perfect casting, in my opinion. Like looking at them, I'm just like spot on. Spot on.
Did you ever watch the new version of Netflix? Well, I say the new version, the Netflix Sabrina, that's based on the actual comics.
Yes,
no, it's on my watch list, but
so this reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah,
it's like it's definitely based on like original source material rather than the family stuff you've had before. This is definitely more darker and a lot more serious.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It was yeah, I just really like it. It's a good, and I love the fact that it's all out, it's all on there. It's just kind of a nice bit of binge television. Put it on, watch a couple of episodes. Yeah, it's just very cool. So I think what else we've been watching. I watched American Horror Story, but can't really talk about that.
I need to catch up with that. I've not watched that one yet.
Yeah, but I wasn't expecting it. That wasn't due to come out. I mean, it was out in the States, but it wasn't due to come out over here. I think until like March or something like that. And then out of nowhere, it just
dropped out of nowhere.
Yeah, it just came up.
I didn't even know it was coming out. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was on the radar, but yeah.
What's the theme this time?
How do I put it?
What's it called? Is it called like American Horror Story?
American Horror Story, New York City.
Okay.
Let me see how I can do it. It is based in the 1980s. Serial killer, fetish, homosexuality, killers.
You could have described any of American Horror Stories at that point.
Yeah, I about to say that. Other than the 1980s, that pretty much described every series.
I tell you what, it's very reminiscent of like the Dharma TV show. It's
the one that Evan Peters did to take a break from playing such dark characters.
Yeah, yeah, basically. But the biggest thing for me is Zachary Quinto's back. Zachary Quinto is back in it, which is really cool. And also Stephen Tovey, is it? The guy that was in
Tovey, yeah. He's in it this one.
What was the show he was in where he was a werewolf?
Russell Tovey.
Russell Tovey. Yeah, not Stephen
Tovey.
With
the ears.
Yes. What was the werewolf show where the werewolf and the vampire and the ghost? What was it called? Being Human.
Yeah. BBC, wasn't it?
Yeah, Being Human.
Such a good show.
He was in Doctor Who as well.
Yeah, he was actually, yeah. But yeah, he's in it as well. He's really cool in it. Yeah, I love American Horror Story, and I love the American Horror Stories, like the spin-off show that they've done as well. I think that's really clever.
I didn't know they did one.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus, so it's completely unrelated to American Horror Story. A couple of the episodes tie in. Yeah, a couple
it's like an anthology series.
Yeah, but they are it's very much like Tales of the Crypt, that kind of thing, because each story is a standalone American Horror Story, and some of them will be about something really supernatural, some of them will be about something really human, but they're really cool. But you can essentially put an episode on, watch it, walk away. and then come back and watch another one on another day. But yeah, that's a lot of fun.
I'm hoping with that series we get to see them revisit the Witches again, or something from that. Yeah, because that'd be a good way of revisiting them without having to do a whole series on them again.
Yeah,
which gives a few little episodes here and there. Because that was still it still is my favorite season this day. That the New Orleans one.
Oh, see, no, Asylum was my favorite.
Oh, Asylum.
Yeah, same. I was Asylum as well.
What was that? Series 2?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, it was.
Murder House was the first one. Asylum second.
Third.
That's it.
Coven. Freak Show.
Freak Show.
Coven, Freak Show, then
Hotel,
Ragnarok. What was it called? Roanoke.
Oh,
Roanoke.
Roanoke. Yep.
Roanoke.
That was set in 2 different bits, wasn't it? It was like one was the reality show and one was the after reality show.
Yeah.
But no, Asylum for me, when I enjoyed Murder House, but when I watched Asylum, I was like, okay, I'm watching this until it goes off the air. I'm hooked with this. This is really cool. Yeah. No, I don't know. It's had its ups and downs, but I quite like the tone of it at the moment. I really enjoyed the last series with the kind of split between the alien black and white kind of alien stuff and the vampire stuff as well. I really like the kind of split between the two. But,
I haven't seen it since Hotel. That was the last one I watched.
Mate, watch last series because again, it's like 6 episodes of each different story.
I will try at some point. I'll get around to it. The problem is, like I said, there's just so much to watch. We are so lucky at the moment. We've got so much good TV to watch.
Well, I had this conversation with my kids the other day, right? Because I know we were talking about Blockbuster and stuff on a show previously, and I was like, you know what really angers me is that I said to my kids, I was like, you know what really annoys me about you? I was like, it was the fact that you have so much at a touch of a button that you're not watching enough. Like, watch more telly. Like, but it's kind of like, don't go back and rewatch something that you've just watched. Like, if you've watched a TV show and you enjoyed it, that's great, but look for something similar. Don't just rewatch the same thing. Or if you've got TV on in the background and your friends are there, or you've doing homework with TV on or something like that, like, look for something new, because that's kind of our generation's mentality is like, right, I really enjoyed that. What can I find that's similar, or what's going to fill that gap?
Yeah, don't get hooked up on one thing and then just collect and talk about that one thing the whole time. That's not the right thing to do.
Yeah, no, but
no, I agree with you. I know what you mean. Rather than like waste your time watching like 3 guys talking on YouTube, when you could be watching something really good on TV. Like that would be. I mean, no, absolutely watch 3 guys talking on YouTube.
That's what this show should be called. 3 guys talking on YouTube. Yeah,
0 viewers.
That doesn't work when we have like Viking or like have to change the name each week. But yeah, I there's so much available out there. It is difficult, but I really like the fact that we have the ability to get so much in our house, like just there and then. Speaking of which, they've said that Wakanda Forever is not going to be on Disney Plus for quite some time. Interestingly enough, it's not one that's going to drop like next month. Whereas with a lot of the other Marvel stuff, it's come out relatively quickly. Speaking of Marvel, did you notice that they've changed the name of the Agatha Harkness TV show?
No, what's it called now?
So it was Agatha House of Harkness.
Yeah,
and they've now changed the name of it to Agatha Harkness Coven of Chaos, or Coven of Chaos, however you say it. Right. So there's lots of speculation that we are. There we go. I've just had an idea. There's a lot.
It's an
of speculation. Oh, there you go, another one. Either that or my brain cells are dying.
How fun is this? That is my phone telling us that the Geek Week in Review is now live, and I should go watch it.
Mate, it's been like
an hour in.
An hour in.
Yeah, YouTube sort your algorithm.
YouTube notifications are a thing, aren't they?
But yeah, so there's a lot of speculation that we are going to see Wanda turn up again, which I'm kind of I was like, I would like this be a standalone piece. I don't think it needs Wanda and the Scarlet Witch for it to be a solid offering.
I feel like that's cameo for the sake of cameo.
Yeah, it's always fun when you see the name changes come out for different shows, though, because it obviously means they're going in a different direction based on the popularity or unpopularity of something that's already out. So Following
I was
Vision
hoping-
got a name yet?
Is what?
Has the Vision TV show got a name yet?
No.
No.
I was really hoping that with the Coven of Chaos, that we might see Brother Voodoo and we might see some more of the Doctor Strange sort of characters coming into play a little bit more. Like start seeing the other like mystical side of stuff.
There's a lot of opportunity there. There's a lot of
There is.
opportunity to introduce those kind of characters. So I hope so.
Because
I'm
you'd be
kinda
more
hoping.
likely to see something like Werewolf by Midnight or, Man Thing. You're more likely to see them in something like a witch-based program, like something about dark magic.
Speaking of cameos and stuff, do you know what I did read online the other day? Because we've seen that Harrison Ford has obviously been recast as Thunderbolt Ross, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
Now, the reason being is there's a bit of a rumor circulating the internet as to why they had to recast him and not write him off, because his character is like pinnacle to the story around Captain America New World Order and then the Thunderbolts. And the reason being, and also Secret Wars as well. So there's a lot of rumors going on that okay, I'll talk about the speculation and the rumors, and then if it does come true, then you can say that you heard it from me. But kind of accumulating a handful of different rumors that I've read. So the first one is in regards to Secret Wars, we are going to see a Skrull in the White House as president. And so when Nick Fury kind of exposes the Skrull, it turns out that the president is a Skrull. And Thunderbolt Ross has the opportunity to step up and kind of basically take credit for what Nick Fury has done and therefore become president. So he will stand in as president, and it'll put him in that position of power. In Captain America New World Order, he's supposedly going to Hulk out, and we're going to see the Red Hulk, and he will become the Red Hulk in Captain America New World Order, and therefore tie in to being a part of the Thunderbolts moving forward. So that's the little accumulation of rumors that I've read, which makes sense as to why they would recast him, and so much effort would go into recasting him if that is set to be true. Because that's three kind of.
I can see that happening.
Yeah, I think it'd be quite cool. I want to see Red Hulk on the screen. I really do. I thought we might see him in the She-Hulk TV show, but how they would write him in, I don't know.
That would have been cool to see him in the TV. But as long as we get him at some point, he's a pivotal character in the Hulk sort of storyline, isn't he? So
yeah.
We need him at some point.
So figure-wise, did anyone pick anything up this week? Anything exciting land on your doorsteps?
Only what I showed of my video the other day. I didn't get anything drop on my doorstep because I've had no deliveries, but I picked up a couple of things this week.
Cool.
Mainly old DC stuff. But I'm excited for it.
Yeah, the postal strike sort of, nixed a lot of deliveries. I've got my first full wave of custom figures coming from the next 17.
A full wave of custom figures.
Yeah, he's done it in waves. So it's I think it's six or seven figures, all in one wave. So that's on its way from the Netherlands, and it's also got like accessory packs and backdrops as well. So it's all vintage style. So I've got that coming. I think it's due to be delivered tomorrow, but obviously with all the postal strikes, who knows?
Yeah.
Oh,
was that Man Bat?
So I finally got Man Bat.
Nice.
And he looks. He's so huge. He's massive. So I've got cool. Man Bat.
Like they would have done his wings on his arms.
Killer
Crop.
Has to be done.
Yay! I did something.
Go Power Rangers!
Oh, you got it!
You got it.
Finally got him. As I always said, I doubt I'll ever get any of the big Zords, but if they keep doing these ones, I'll definitely pick up that Dragon Zord, White Tiger Zord, the Ninjatic Zords. I'll pick up all of them like they're in this size because
I am tempted for that.
Everything else I've got. Plus,
because I've got the original one, but I don't know if I got the space, like you said, to have all the actual Megazords.
Yeah,
these are actually in scale. Well, kind of in scale with the monster figures they've released for Lightning Collection. So if you stand him with Goldar, it looks like it's the giant Goldar. Make my monster grow. So
do they? How articulated are they? Is it
I have no idea yet. I haven't opened it up yet.
Do it.
I'll be doing it tomorrow.
Be like Steve. Let them breathe.
Yeah. I thought he was going to do it there. I thought he was going to peer pressure him to do it.
No, sorry, dude. I'm gonna be doing that tomorrow though.
I got a couple of drops. I got my Daredevil 3-pack. Haven't opened that up yet. But this
Did
one,
you see? Sorry, go on.
I was going to say this one was really unexpected. We weren't expecting this until like next year. And over in the States as well, they've not got this yet, but for some reason it's dropped over here in the UK. So
Target exclusive in America, isn't it?
yes, I think so. It's an exclusive somewhere. But yeah, so we've got it. We've got it in hand, which is cool.
Yeah, I saw Dave's, Dave's plays model behavior. I saw his video today. Did you see it?
I haven't really been online today.
In big capital letters, it just says "Do not buy this."
What for this 3-pack?
For that set, for that 3-pack. So,
clickbait. That's clickbait, mate. Because it is an amazing set. There's not like even without even opening it up, you can see that it's an amazing set because it's a fully articulated red suit Daredevil. That in itself is worth picking up because the red suited Daredevil is so difficult to get. I mean,
is it? Sorry, go on.
No, I'm going to say all the Marvel Legends that I've got, because I sold him a while back, I don't have a red suited Daredevil out of all of those Marvel Legends. So that gives you an idea. And I refuse to pay like 80, 90 pounds for a figure that I myself sold for like 20 quid. I'm kind of like, no, I'm not paying over the price because they will re-release him at some point. So the fact for most collectors that have either been collecting a long time or are new to collect him, to have a red suited Daredevil with the articulated toes, the butterfly joints, the chest swivel, and the waist swivel, like that in itself is worth buying. The bullseye, this one, it's a bit of a random color scheme. I can't quite put my finger on where the two-tone blue comes from, in which comic book arc it is. But it's essentially the same figure that we got in that Netflix wave, which again is a really hard to get figure. It's a really hard to chase down figure. So, even just for those two, for Bullseye and Daredevil, if it was just a 2-pack, it would be worth people picking up because they're not figures that are easily obtainable. As for Elektra, that white suited Elektra was, if you remember rightly, Marvel did a fan vote a couple of years ago, and there was 3 figures in it. There was a white suited Elektra, there was the Silk, and there was the comic Lady Sif. And Silk won it as a fan vote. They've recently redone her as part of the Doc Ock 2-pack, and they've given us the white suited Elektra. So it's the runner-up fan vote. It's an articulated red suit Daredevil, and it's a hard to get staple villain. How is this not a pack that people, So anyone saying don't buy it, to me, is them just blowing smoke, because for any collector of Marvel Legends, especially comic Marvel Legends, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, the white Elektra we've not seen since the Marvel Urban Legends line, innit? The Urban Legends they called it, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was like a box set that had Elektra, Daredevil, Punisher, and Spider-Man in it.
Yep.
So that in itself is quite cool. But yeah, I just saw the video. I thought it was quite funny.
Yeah,
it's the only negative one online, to be honest. But
yeah, because it's one of those ones that you can't. I don't understand how you could be negative about. I mean, fair enough. There's a few things you could pinpoint. So Daredevil doesn't have boots. He's in like a leotard costume. So would he have been better if he had boots on? Like, yeah, of course he would. But am I going to complain? No, because it's a red suited Daredevil at the end of the day.
So I've got the original red suited Daredevil. I'm just trying to work. I'll probably wait till your review comes out. I'm wondering whether it's worth picking up the set to update him, because obviously he's got the new articulation on the new one. So that's my thing. Is it worth the price just to get the updated Daredevil? But we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
But I think updated articulation counts for a lot, right?
Yeah. Same with
Right. Case in point, and I've not even moved her from a factory sealed kind of positioning, right? But she's essentially the same figure. The costume's the same, the design's the same. Okay, she's got an updated head sculpt, which is a must for any figure that comes out new. But essentially making her pinless and putting the double jointed elbows in her arms, it's a no-brainer. It's made her a completely different figure because you can now get her into poses that you couldn't get her into previously.
The original one had ball hips as well, didn't you? Did you have the weird ball hips on the original one?
Yeah. So it's for me, The red suited Daredevil makes it an absolute no-brainer. I think if you can get hold of it, if you're a collector of Marvel Legends and you like comic book characters, I can't see why you would pass on it. Things like that Spider-Man Amazon 5-pack, I can understand people passing on it because it's random kind of, Z-list characters, and it's another symbiote Spider-Man, but this time in the metallic kind of plastic resin stuff. But fair enough. Buy it or don't buy it, it's not make a difference. But like for me, missing a red suited Daredevil has been a real annoyance of mine for a long time because I had it and I got rid of it, and people just sell it for stupid money. So yeah, there's my 5 minutes on that one.
Are we ready for some toy news?
Go on then, let's go. Let's do some
news. There's some good stuff this week.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff slipped under the radar. So apologies to anyone like me that has started already picking up on the NECA gargoyles, but they have been really hard to get over here. There's licensing issues, I believe, is the problem.
Mhm.
However, Beast Kingdom are going to be giving us these bad boys, and they even have light up eyes. So this just looks amazing.
I love
this
that.
is part of this is part of their DAH line, which if you've not seen, I did some reviews on their Buzz and Woody products and the Toy Story stuff a little while back. They are amazing action figures with like multiple heads, hands. They do some great stuff. They're about 60, 70 quid when they come out, but they are totally worth picking up. And the fact that we can't get the NECA gargoyles is easy. To be fair, I paid £65 to get mine. So, I mean, it's not that much in it between that and this import one from Japan.
Yeah.
The Beast Kingdom products are quality. So I definitely recommend this when it comes out. That should be coming out for the first quarter of next year. And the fact that it has light up eyes and stuff, that's just going to be so cool.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I wonder whether there's something coming with gargoyles, because they seem to be quite a common theme of conversation and discussion points and that. So
there is a new comic series which is a continuation from the original cartoon.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense.
And I'm hoping there's going to be a new animated series in the works.
Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? That would be good.
Moving over to Super 7, we've got Biggie Smalls.
Yeah, Notorious B.I.G.
Notorious B.I.G. as an action figure.
Such a good looking action figure.
Because he's going to be a Super 7, that means he's going to be quite tall. Am I the only one that wants to put him next to Kingpin for some photo shoots?
Oh, mate.
Oh, yes.
That would be amazing.
We need some form of drug deal going down between Kingpin and Biggie Smalls in toy form.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. I just love his boots, the Timberland boots. They just look phenomenal.
If they're starting on this and they're starting down this line, I mean, would I turn down a Snoop Dogg and a 2-pack? Hell no. I'd buy a 2-pack.
I think that might
be. Could even buy a 3-pack probably.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're going. I really do think that's where they're going with it. But yeah, I saw the promo shots for it look brilliant as well. Look really, really good.
So sticking with the Ultimates in Super 7, they're going to also give us the King Conan figure. King Conan, and he looks absolutely amazing. It comes with the gold stool and everything for him to sit on. That is like as it comes, multiple heads and hands and everything like that. But yeah, it looks awesome. Another great solid Conan figure. I like the look of this one, like the more older grizzled Conan.
I can imagine people buying it just for the throne, almost just for the for the display of other figures. You could, even if the scaling is a bit off, it doesn't matter with something like that.
They need to tap Arnold up and make a Conan, like a King Conan film. Like there was rumors about it years ago, but you look at him now, how good he would be as a King Conan now, because the guy is still in good shape. But he's got to be what, 70?
Yeah, because the reboot didn't do too well, did it? They tried to reboot it with Jason Momoa, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
a beardless Momoa, which looked odd. But so I agree with you. I think
just didn't have
what everyone else is doing.
Face.
It's just a blank space.
They need to go back and do a King Conan, without a doubt.
Legacy sequels is where it's at.
So this is from that really weird line, which I love to bits, which is Super 7's the worst Ultimate line, and this is Wave 3, which is it's the Cortex Commander. This one, again, these are like ridiculously like over the top looking villains from like B-list movies from back in the day. Doesn't even name where this guy's from, but he's the ruthless mastermind of chaos. And it just looks a fun, silly little character. But I can imagine using that on my shelf for stuff. It just looks funny. And then to go with him, they've also given us another random worst of action figure. Here we go. And this guy is the Killer Bat, the baseball shogun of death.
What is that even all about?
So
Box master.
Yeah, so it's meant to look like he's in like Shogun armor, isn't it? But he's a baseball pitcher. I just think that's funny. It just looks ridiculously over the top.
Yeah.
But it's such a random line that, but it
is. I mean, they did it in 3/3/4 inch in the reaction line as well. They had reaction the worst as well. Like they had 4 inch and they repainted them several times. But they did some really good figures and that similar kind of thing, like sort of inspired by all the sort of B movies and like Universal monsters combined. It was a great line.
So moving into more familiar territory, we've got Batman. This is the Gladiator Batman that's coming out.
Looks good.
Well, that actually looks pretty decent.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot, like I was saying the other week when Steve were on, it reminds me of those like old Batman figures from the 90s that were like
Pirate Batman, Ninja Batman.
It reminds me of that kind of a thing.
Can you imagine being the collector like 2 or 3 years ago and going, you know what? I'm only going to collect Batman figures because they're few and far between. I'm only going to collect Batman suits. And then all this, like the amount of Batman suits we've had from McFarlane is ridiculous. But I mean, credit to them. They're all new sculpts. They're all new looking figures. Like there must be someone out there that's got a full collection of these.
Oh yeah, but like you have of Marvel Legends, there'll be someone who's got that of just DC.
Yeah.
But one thing that I really want to see is obviously they did that Gladiator Superman the other month or so, where it was the bare chested in the sandals Superman. Imagine if you put them two opposite each other in like a proper like Colosseum style diorama.
Old school awesome. Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, that'd look good. That would look really good.
That'd be a really cool shot.
That's a really sweet figure though.
Definitely. Where am I next? Here we go. Sticking with DC for the time being, we did have one more multiverse announcement this week, which was the Infinite Frontier Joker.
Yeah, nice
looking Joker. I'm not too familiar with the Infinite Frontier. Isn't that what the Infinite Frontier? Isn't that what they called that weird Shogun, like Japanese Batman thing? Weren't that Infinite Frontier?
Probably.
It might be actually. I don't know. I'm not
because when they released the Scarecrow version, he was like in the Japanese inspired outfit. But yeah, I just saw that Joker and he looks decent as well. Because we've not had like a traditional Joker in a while. They're all like random like Mortal Kombat ones and stuff. So that looks like a good Joker to have. Might fit in with your Arkham line as well, which is quite nice.
The colours on it are nice.
Speaking of Mortal Kombat, there's been like 2 more animated Mortal Kombat films. I still haven't seen them because I watched the first animated film they did in similar vein to sort of like the DC animated movies. They did a Mortal Kombat one and it was really, really good. It was like Scorpion, like the Legend of the Scorpion. And that was awesome. But there's been like 2 more since then, which I haven't watched yet. But again, meant to be really good. If you get a chance to watch them, I'd go for them.
And then we've had the Hush announcements for Ivy as well. That is one Mayfex figure I'm very tempted to get because they've just released the Mayfex Hush Harley. So I mean, I could be very tempted to grab Harley now while she's still like cheapish. Well, it's not cheap. They're not cheap, like 80 quid, but you know what I mean. Still grab it while it's like reasonably priced because they'll only go up, not down. And then I might grab this when it comes out. When I've got Harley and Poison Ivy together.
I just don't think. I think Poison Ivy's a character that I don't think I've seen done like proper yet, if that makes sense. I think there's still potential for a really good Poison Ivy figure. I think
definitely.
A character with so much potential. They always seem to be very similar to this, like the 2-tone greens, the bright hair, and a couple of vines. Like I want to see something really next level.
I would really like to see one based on the. I would like to see a line based on the animated series, like the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy animated series. That would make a really good line of figures. I would love to see a figure line for that.
Yeah,
like the King Shark, and he's like hoodie and shorts, and like Alan Tiddick's Clayface, like all of them. Like I would love to see that.
I'm surprised they haven't actually. To be fair.
And then the final one for absolute shits and giggles. It's Logan Paul, the action figure, because we all want one of them.
Oh, I know. Who is it that's making this?
So this is Mattel. It's from the WWE Ultimate line, so he's been a wrestler for all of less than 3 months, and he's got his own action figure.
Are we allowed to swear on this show?
It's a YouTube, mate. You do what you want.
Because I've got a very specific insult based around Logan Paul,
Go on, then.
but it is using one of the worst swear words imaginable.
Maybe don't know. We don't want to get cancelled.
Yeah, let's say you get it.
I will say I'll do a PG version. Colossal thunder punt. That's what it is.
It's just
I
a massive
absolutely despise him, and just what they do, everything they've done. I just hate them. They're very successful at what they've done, and I admire the business acumen. Can't knock them for that. But as people, awful, horrible, hate them.
For
Can't
me,
watch any of their stuff.
For me, it's the fact that he's been with the WWE for less than 6-7 months, and he's had like the best trainers going. He's had like the backing of Triple H and the company. He's been in the main event 3 times, and he's been on 3 pay-per-views since being there. And he's just got an instant push to the top. It's like all those like guys that have like worked on the indie scenes and like worked their way up. It just feels like an absolute slap in the face then that some YouTubers come along and just like at least start properly and work your way up. Don't just come in at the top. That's terrible.
Yeah, it doesn't set a good precedent.
And the fact that the current champion, actually, I know you guys don't watch wrestling, I'm guessing, but at the moment it's Roman Reigns as the champion, who's quite a big dude. He's like the Rock's
He's
cousin.
massive. Yeah, he's
and
huge.
you put him against Logan Paul. I know Logan's a big guy, but he's not that big, and it just looks ridiculous that he's taking down this Samoan giant. You're like, no, it makes it so unbelievable.
Yeah, it's the thing is it's all about, especially with wrestling, it's all about selling tickets. It's all about kind of being relevant, and if you get somebody that's as popular as him involved, it's gonna sell. Like that action figure, like it or hate it, will sell because kids know who he is, and kids will go into a store, and out of all of the action figures, especially the wrestling figures, because there's so many on the shelves when you go into the stores, he will be the one that stands out because they'll instantly recognize him from somewhere else rather than just wrestling.
I'm half surprised that he's not holding a bottle of Prime, I've got to admit.
Yeah, I mean that's that. I would have, if I was him, I would have tied that in. Yes, you can make my likeness, but I need to be pushing my product.
Well, yeah, that was it from the toy news. Not a lot from Hasbro this week. It was relatively quiet from Hasbro. It was mainly a Super 7 and DC week, but yeah.
I think Hasbro have got a few things up their sleeve. I think if I was to make an educated guess, I would say we're going to wait for all the Black Friday, Cyber Monday stuff to kind of pass, and then there'll be a couple of announcements over the next couple of weeks going into Christmas. Interestingly enough, I had a look at what was due to be shipped out and stuff, and there isn't a huge amount left. So wave-wise, there isn't a lot of waves. We're kind of we're due a wave or 2 announcement. So I wonder when they're going to come because there aren't any out at the moment. They're either landing or about to land. So I wonder whether there's a couple kind of on the horizon, maybe before Christmas. But yeah, I definitely think we're going to get some news before Christmas. That's my.
I'm scared. I'm scared because I put down that pre-order, didn't I, last week?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and you've just seen that. I saw today that In-Demand Toys have got the import stock of all of them. So you know that Hasbro can't be far behind. And
what pre-order's this? And also, I thought we weren't doing pre-orders anymore.
Ryan missed this. That for the sake of the show as well. For the sake of the show, SuperSorrell in the 11th month broke his promise and put in a pre-order. So for anyone that doesn't know,
you went this long.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, going into this year, SuperSorrell's kind of mantra, if you like, was that he wasn't going to pre-order anything, and if he was supposed to have it, he was going to be able to get it on release. And then in November 2022, he broke.
The end of November as well.
You were literally 1 month away from completing that.
I was talking to Jacob about this past week, and basically, because G.I. Joe is becoming so hard to get hold of, and Power Rangers seem to sell out like that. Like you can't wait for them to drop in stock because they don't. Pre-orders come in, pre-orders sell out, so they don't actually ever come into stock. The only way to get them is by doing the pre-orders now.
Jake, prepare the cone of shame.
So I didn't. I'm not pre-ordering everything. I'm not pre-ordering everything from the lines, but like the GI Joes, there's certain ones like I missed out on Sergeant Slaughter, and I refused to pay $54.99. It's bad enough that the figure was $39.99 to begin with, and because I missed out on that, I was like, well, I don't want to be doing this with all the figures paying over the odds. So there were a bunch of them that I wanted, like Dusty, and there were a bunch of really cool looking ones coming out for next year that are coming in the new boxes and stuff. So I pre-ordered them, and obviously all the crossover waves for Power Rangers, they're not going to be. I don't think they'll be as mass produced as the regular lines. I just don't. I can't see them making a ridiculous amount of these Cobra Kai ones just in case they don't sell.
No,
mate,
So
I'll give it to you though. To be fair, credit where credit is due. You have done incredibly well, and I get the logic. But I mean, to get to November, that is pretty impressive, considering you can, especially because you do collect some quite niche things. So I am genuinely impressed that you've actually got to 11 months. So well done, still well done.
There you go. But yeah, it's and the fact that we're getting those the Street Fighter ones, I didn't want to miss out on the Street Fighter ones. It'd be like, no, in my look, I'd get like 3 out of the 4, and I wouldn't be able to get the final.
Wait, how much have you pre-ordered then?
a lot.
Oh, mate, I dropped like 200 or 300 quid in like the space of 10 minutes.
So basically, you went full druggy relapse.
I did, mate. I did.
It was.
I pre-ordered all the updated GI Joes,
And
They
I
were like,
bet
I was pre-ordering things, man. I was pre-ordering things that even weren't even for pre-order.
I bet that while you were clicking those buttons, you were saying to yourself, "Well, I haven't done anything all year. Well, I haven't done anything. All year.
I've been really good, so I should treat myself.
This is my year's worth of pre-orders." Like, but no, I do agree. But on that note, though, before we do finish up the show, on that note, with all the news about stock prices and stuff of Hasbro dropping, we have gone past that point of no return now, where we've had so much stock in retailers at Hasbro Pulse and all that kind of stuff. Because stock prices have gone down, it is a matter of fact that next year they will not produce as many items of each things. So people that their whole kind of approach is, well, I don't pre-order, I just pick it up when I see it, or I get it on sale. That's a really common one at the moment. Oh, I just wait a couple of months and get it when it drops down. I've got a feeling that 2023, especially 2024, that will be gone. That will be gone. They will have limited amount of stocks, and we'll be back into the kind of 2018, 2019 kind of way of things. Is that if you want something, you pre-order it, otherwise you don't get it.
Yeah, Steve did say, didn't he? They don't make any money when it goes on sale.
No, well, that's just business, isn't it? It's kind of if you spend £10 making 10 items and only 3 of them sell, you've lost money. Like that's a matter of fact. And if you're a company as big as Hasbro, for example, and you're churning out wave after wave after wave, and then all of a sudden the last 4 waves that you churn out don't sell when they go on sale, that's a big chunk of money you've not got. That one way or another, they are putting money back into the business to make more product. And if you haven't got that money, you still have to pay all your bills and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, my guess, my assumption is that 2023 going into 2024, we are going to be back in that pre-order it or don't get it situation. That's my guess. So welcome back to the dark side, Sorrell. Yeah. I think that's about it. I think that kind of rounds our show up, really. One thing I will say to anyone that is watching and anyone that is listening, there are a lot of sales going on at the moment. There are a lot of figures that are at stupidly reduced prices. There are places like Game that are selling 3 packs for like 20 quid. There are places like Amazon that are selling figures for £6.50. There are, obviously all the retailers that we use selling things in Black Friday sales and Cyber Monday sales and stuff. If there's any advice that I could give anyone, is don't be a dick. Don't try to resell it for more. Don't whack it on eBay for a high price. It's just bad. Like, just don't do it. Right? If you pick a figure up at a discounted price, good for you. Like, you've got a win there. Don't try to resell it, because there will always be somebody that will buy it, and then in the communities they will find out that they've been had, and that's just a really shit way of being introduced to the community or introduced to the hobby to be kind of played. So don't be that guy or girl. If you see something at discount, buy it if you want it. If you don't want it, leave it for the next guy. That's my advice.
Very nice.
It just annoys me. It really annoys me.
I'm just waiting for that, like, a little thing like the more you know. Bit, come on.
It's my GI Joe end of okay.
Like
guys,
Jake comes up to
this
the camera.
week.
Hey guys, we've had a lot
Can
of
you-
fun today, but here's a couple of things I want you to take away from the show.
But it was
You
really,
need to jump on your
It
bike
is.
now and go, tell me meet again.
but it does. It really annoys me when you see people, especially on the kind of community groups and that, and they're new to the hobby and they're enthusiastic and they're hungry and they want this character, this character, this character. And we've all seen it go on sale 6 weeks ago. And then you see that guy that sells it for 3 times the amount, or you know what I mean? I just don't be that guy. If you see
I
something and it's
agree.
reduced,
We
pick
should
it
be
up.
helping each other out, especially things like when you see like TK Maxx had a huge run on Transformers recently, where like really expensive sets have gone in there for like there was an 80 quid set that's gone in for 20 quid. And
Yeah.
what's really nice, some of the Transformer groups, people have been like, I don't have a TK Maxx near me, or like, people have been going there, I have a TK Maxx near me. Does anyone want a set? Because I'll pick it up for you and just pay me the money and plus postage. And that's what it should be. It should be actually about collectors helping each other out, because we're doing it for the collecting rather than for the money. 100% agree with you, man.
Yeah. I remember when I came into like the community group side of collecting, and there was, like you say, there were stores around the country that sold things, and it was just, there was that kind of, I'll tell you what, I'll grab it, I'll send it over or whatever. And some of my best conversations and interactions and kind of friendships, for lack of a better word, with people in the groups have been based around that. And I just think too many people see this hobby as a quick money maker, and it's not. Like, don't be that guy. But anyway, that's just wanted to say it. Now I've said it, I feel better about myself. But yeah, that's it. That's about it for this week. Geek Week in Review, episode 76 this week. So going into 77, are we going to hit? No, we're not going to hit 100 before the end of the year, are we? It's like quite into the year. I was doing my quick maths there. I was like, no, it is a lot closer to Christmas than I realized. But we are going to do a Christmas special, and we have got a couple of little things planned on the run up to Christmas, end of 2022 into 2023.
Special guest from the North Pole.
Yeah, we are going to get Santa Claus on the Geek Week in Review. But no, yeah, obviously, as always, geekweekinreview.co.uk is the website to check it out. If you're on Instagram, if you're on TikTok, if you're on YouTube, obviously give the guys a follow, give myself a follow. It's very much appreciated. Obviously, tune in next week, same time, same place, same lineup,
Same bad channel.
same bad channel.
Same bad time.
Same bad channel. Till next week, keep it geeky.